Okay, let's dive into something that, well, it might keep some of you up at night. Imagine a sudden $1,000 bill just lands in your lap. You know, the car needs a big fix, the dog eats something weird. Could you cover that?
No.
Without reaching for plastic or asking for a loan? Get this. Nearly 60% of American adults, they couldn't.
Yeah.
Just let that sink in. 60%.
It's a really striking number, and it highlights this real vulnerability for so many people.
Right.
We're not talking huge, extravagant costs here. It's a relatively modest sum.
Yeah, $1,000.
But it's enough to potentially throw a lot of people into financial trouble. And, if you look at savings rates, the U.S. often kind of lags behind some other places. That feeds into this.
Exactly. And that's really the heart of our deep dive today. Our mission isn't just to, point out this surprising fact. It's to give you some real practical ways to build that financial safety net, even if you feel like you're stretching every single dollar. Because, let's be honest, life just happens, right? Those unexpected hits, medical bills, roof leaks, maybe a job change.
They always seem to come out of nowhere.
It's not if, it's definitely when.
And without that cushion, that financial buffer, the go-to is often credit cards.
Yeah, the easy option sometimes.
Right. But that can start a debt cycle that's just so hard to break. And there's psychology involved, too, like present bias.
Present bias.
Yeah, we tend to focus on what we need or want right now over, future security.
Make saving harder.
Okay. That immediate satisfaction versus the long-term peace of mind.
Precisely.
So look, we're not here to wag fingers.
Yeah.
This isn't about blame, not at all. It's about being proactive,
Right.
right? Understanding that a bit of planning, even small steps, can make a massive difference.
Absolutely. It's about preparation.
So let's get into the core issue. Why are so many people finding that a $1,000 surprise feels like a major crisis? Well, for a lot of folks, the fundamental issue is living really close to the edge, paycheck to paycheck. There's just very little, or sometimes no, wiggle room. Wages haven't really kept up with the rising cost of, everything for many years. Essentials cost more.
Leaving less left over to actually save.
Exactly. It's like walking a tightrope. Any little wobble.
And that wobble, the impact isn't small, is it? It's more than just an annoyance.
Oh, absolutely. It can snowball fast. What starts as a small problem, maybe a $1,000 problem, can lead to delaying necessary medical stuff, or making tough choices between bills, or, like we said, taking on high-interest debt just to cope.
Creates a huge amount of stress.
Massive stress and instability.
Okay. So that's the challenge laid out pretty clearly. What's the answer? What's this financial tool we need?
The cornerstone, really, for handling these unexpected things, it's the emergency fund.
The emergency fund. Okay.
Simple concept, but really powerful impact.
So for anyone listening who's heard the term but isn't totally sure, what is it exactly? In plain English.
Okay, simplest terms. It's money you've set aside specifically for those urgent, unplanned costs. Think of it like your personal oops fund.
An oops fund, I like that.
Yeah, for the car breaking down suddenly, an unexpected ER visit, maybe losing your job for a bit. It's definitely not for things you can plan for or just, things you want, like a new phone or a holiday.
Got it. So it's the spare tire in your financial trunk. Hope you don't need it, but boy, are you glad it's there if you get a flat.
That's a great analogy, yes.
So why is having this separate stash of cash so vital? What's the real payoff?
Well, there's several big benefits. First, it just gives you security. It gives you options when the unexpected hits.
Options are good.
Very good. Instead of automatically reaching for debt, you have cash ready. That avoids interest charges, avoids digging that debt hole deeper.
Makes sense.
And maybe even more important, peace of mind. Just knowing you have that buffer, it reduces so much stress about the what-ifs.
Yeah, I can see that.
It also buys you time. Flexibility. Like if you did lose your job, the fund gives you some breathing room to find the right next job, not just the first one out of desperation.
Okay, that makes total sense. Creating control when things feel out of control. But, the idea of saving up a big chunk of money can feel daunting, really daunting.
It can, absolutely.
So if someone's basically starting from zero, where do they even begin? How do you make it not feel impossible?
That's a really important question. The key is setting an initial goal that feels achievable. Now, the ultimate goal might be, say, 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved up. That's the big one.
Right, the gold standard.
But starting with a target of the $1,000, that's incredibly effective.
Okay. Why $1,000?
Well, it's often enough to cover many of those common smaller emergencies. We talked about the car repair, the vet bill, And psychologically, it just feels so much more manageable than trying to save, 5 or 10,000 right away.
Yeah, $1,000 feels like a hill you can actually climb, not Mount Everest.
Exactly. It builds momentum.
Okay, so let's get practical. What are the actual concrete steps someone can take, like starting today, to hit that first $1,000 goal?
All right, step 1, and this is crucial. Open a separate savings account just for this.
Separate. Why separate?
Because keeping it away from your everyday checking account makes it harder to dip into for non-emergencies.
Yeah.
Out of sight, out of mind, mostly.
Reduces temptation.
Precisely. And look for one with no fees, maybe even a high-yield one. Briefly, high yield just means it pays a bit more interest than your standard account. Lets the money grow a tiny bit faster.
Okay, keep it separate, maybe earn a little interest. Got it. Step 2.
Step 2, start small, really small if you need to.
Yeah.
Don't get put off if you can really put aside, say, $10 or $20 a week at first. The absolute most important thing is building the habit of saving. Consistency.
Okay.
And celebrate the little milestones. Reaching $50, then $100. Those small wins keep you going. They reinforce the habit.
Right, it's like building a muscle. Don't try to lift the heaviest weight on day 1. Okay, what's next on the plan?
Step 3 is all about making it effortless. Automate your savings.
Automation, okay?
Set up an automatic transfer from your checking to that new emergency savings account, even a small amount, regularly.
Like how much?
Well, for example, maybe $25 a week. Doesn't sound like a lot, maybe,
Doesn't seem huge, no.
but that's over $100 a month. And that gets you to your $1,000 goal in less than a year.
Without even thinking about it each week.
Exactly. Set it and forget it, almost.
Yeah.
Most online banks make this super easy to set up.
Okay, automatic transfers. Smart. Now, sometimes people want to speed things up. How can they find extra cash, maybe temporarily?
Good question. That brings us to step 4. Make small, temporary cuts to spending.
Temporary adjustments, like what?
Think about areas where you could realistically cut back for a little while without feeling totally deprived. Could you pack lunch a few times a week instead of buying it? Are there any subscriptions maybe you signed up for and don't really use much? Cancel those, even just for now. Skipping one takeout meal a week can free up, $20, $30, maybe more. Adds up over a month.
So just being a bit more mindful, a bit more intentional about where the money's going, short term.
Exactly, just for this goal. And the final step, step 5.
Step 5 to hit that $1,000.
Look for ways to bring in some extra income.
The side hustle idea?
Yeah, or just decluttering. Do you have stuff lying around you don't need anymore? Sell it online. Or maybe you have skills you could use. Pet sitting, maybe some freelance writing or graphic design, rideshare driving.
Anything that brings in a little extra cash.
Anything. Even a small amount here and there can really accelerate getting to that $1,000.
Yeah.
Every single dollar counts towards that goal.
Okay, so that's a solid 5-step plan. Separate account, start small, automate, temporary cuts, find extra cash, builds that first $1,000. Now, once we have it, this precious $1,000 safety net, how do we make sure we don't just, spend it on the next cool thing we see?
That is such a critical point. Protecting the fund is just as important as building it. You need really clear boundaries. Understand what's a true emergency and what's just a want.
Right.
This money has to be strictly for those unexpected, necessary things, the stuff that would otherwise cause real financial hardship.
Okay, so give us some examples. What is definitely not an emergency fund expense?
Definitely not for impulse buys. Walking past a shop and seeing something you suddenly need.
Guilty, sometimes.
We all are, but not from this fund. Not for general shopping sprees or entertainment, concert tickets, planned holidays.
Okay.
Those I just really, really want at moments, not emergencies. Vacations are great, but they need their own savings plan. Budget for them separately.
Got it. Not a slush fund for fun stuff. It's for the genuine oh no moments.
Precisely. The stuff that throws a wrench in the works.
So what if? What if a real oh no moment happens? You have to use some or all of the $1,000. What then?
If you do need to dip into it for a genuine emergency, that's what it's there for. Don't feel bad about using it.
Yeah.
But the absolute top priority afterwards, replenish it
Yeah.
as quickly as you reasonably can.
Get it back up to $1,000.
Exactly. Think of it like refueling your car after a long trip. You use the fuel for its purpose. Now you need to fill the tank back up.
Right.
Once the emergency is handled, make it your mission again. Use those same steps, small savings, maybe some cuts, to build it back up. Keep that safety net strong for next time.
Okay, makes sense. Refuel the fund. So the main message here really is, if that idea of a surprise $1,000 expense makes your stomach clench, if it fills you with dread, Now is definitely the time to start planning.
Absolutely. Look, the perfect time to start might have been yesterday or last year,
Yeah.
but the best time, it's right now, today.
Yeah.
Don't let aiming for perfection stop you from starting. Just taking that first tiny step, whatever it is, that's the most crucial part.
Action over perfection. I like it. And for you listening, if you want to keep digging into this, get more practical tips, build that solid financial base, where can people find more?
Yeah, we definitely encourage you to subscribe to our blog. We share lots of straightforward, real-world advice there. And follow us on social media, too. We try to offer tips to help you build that security just piece by piece.
Great stuff. Okay, here's a final thought for you to chew on as we wrap up. What is one small thing, one manageable change you could make today, right now, to start building your own financial safety net? Just one thing. That first move, doesn't matter how small it feels, it could honestly be the most important step you take for your financial peace of mind this whole week. Think about it.